Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 24th. It is 7:30. So we will start the school committee meeting. So I call this meeting to order again at 7:30. If I can have everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. Moving on. If you could all just humor me while I say some nice words regarding the superintendent, because this is a surprise. This is our last school committee meeting with you being here. Yep. So it's your last report, and it's a lengthy one. So I personally want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to work with you for the last 18 months. Your guidance and your leadership during my transition has been nothing but smooth, and I thank you for that. Obviously, coming from the city council side, I was very nervous about coming to the school committee and chairing it nonetheless, but you opened your arms and welcomed me, and I cannot thank you enough for that. So I think I speak on everyone here where we will miss you and enjoy your retirement. So having said that, please, with your report. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Christian. Thank you for your kind words again. Please join me in welcoming Stephen Serpina as the next principal of Marlborough High School. With more than 16 years of experience as a school administrator in both urban and suburban settings, Mr. Serpina most recently held the position of principal of Groton Dunstable High School. He was formerly a principal at Windham Hill High School in New Hampshire and held principal positions at the elementary level in Methuen and a middle school and K-8 level school in Haverhill. He holds a master's degree in educational leadership and management from Fitchburg State and earned a BA in history with a concentration in secondary education from St. Anselm College. Please welcome Mr. Serpina. Do you want to come up for a minute?
Thank you very much.
Is it green?
Yeah, it's green. Thanks very much for having me. I'm more than excited to be here. I can't wait to get started, which I'm going to meet with the high school team tomorrow, so I'll be down here for the day. I'm really excited. There's a lot of great things that are going on at the high school that I'm starting to learn about. I had a great process. I got to meet a lot of great people. I loved getting to meet with the students. I'm really, really excited, and I think that Marlborough's in a really great place, and I think that as a team, we'll be able to continue to push the high school forward. So thank you very much. I'll be here. I'll probably start getting things out to staff, students, and families so they can have the opportunity to come in and meet with me. But again, I'm more than excited to be here, and I can't wait to get rolling. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
My school committee update on the Marlborough Public Schools walking zones, my last update. Building-specific meetings were held at Richer, Kane, and Jarrick schools during the first 2 weeks of June. Building principals shared revised dismissal and arrival plans at these meetings. Goodnow principal, Mrs. Collins, will be scheduling a Goodnow meeting before open door night. I'm going to publicly also state something that I've said at every single meeting. We know we probably made some mistakes. Please reach out if you think that your address is 2 miles from an elementary school or 2.5 miles, or there is just no way to get from one street to the walking zone. We have discovered a couple of areas that you'd have to go through designated no walking zones to get from a street to school. So we're trying to correct, and we are removing streets as we discover them or addresses. So please let us know. Recent free dental clinic. I would like to thank the Dental Associates of Marlborough for once again hosting a free dental clinic for Marlborough students. That happened. I included the flyer. We're very appreciative of that event. I've also attached to my report, the report of donation, gifts, and grants to the school department during the 2024-25 school year. I'm grateful to the many individuals and companies that support the Marlborough Public Schools. Later tonight, I will be asking you to approve the Richer School Educational Plan. On March 25th, 2025, I was directed by the Building Committee to establish and lead a Richer School Educational Leadership Team to develop the educational plan programming and visioning. Matt Wells, Robert Scaza, Lisa Richards, Calliope Pantazopoulos, Rupal Patel, John Fletcher, Lynn Medallion, Chris Henry, and Christine Harrington spent 2 days visiting recently built elementary schools and our own elementary schools, and then met on April 18th, April 28th, May 2nd, May 5th, and May 9th. Members from the Vertex and Lamoureux Pagano Associates and consultants from MPL Integrated Design Team led our team through a series of visioning exercises that allowed us to identify what would be needed in any future elementary school building to support our instructional priorities, with a focus on our areas on our roadmap and what we needed to support that work. The educational plan will be submitted to DESE and reviewers for feedback and revisions prior to the final MSBA submission. So this will be the first draft. It will undergo multiple drafts, but it needs to be approved later tonight. Also, in your packet, there are district and school improvement plans. At the last school committee, I submitted the district improvement plan. Tonight, each school is submitting their school improvement plans for your review. You should notice an alignment of goals across the district. The district roadmap will continue to drive our academic achievement goal to increase teacher capacity for stronger Tier 1 instruction, which includes creating and delivering well-structured lessons, including actionable feedback, resulting in at least 60% of our students in each grade level, K through 10, meeting or exceeding their projected growth target as measured by the 2026 Spring NWEA assessment in both reading and math. That you will notice that that is an updated goal. Building leaders were going to be here tonight, but there was a slight change in plans. So we're available to answer as many questions as needed if anyone has one, or if not, we can forward any questions to building leaders or have them return in the fall.
Thank you. Questions? Yes, Ms. Hennessy.
I just wanted to say welcome to Mr. Serapina, and with all of the transitions that are taking place, I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the full committee. If you have any questions that you need us, please don't hesitate reaching out, especially over the summer. A lot of us are around, and many of us, whether we've had kids going through or still in district, hopefully we can be another ear to help you. So I just wanted to offer that up. And Mary, sorry, but I needed to say something to you too. I'm gonna first say, what a road we've been. And Patty Sibilio, who's kind of like your right-hand man, if you will, and has been with us for many, many years, helping the superintendency over the years, is also retiring. And that's going to be a huge loss for the district as well. So I do want to recognize and thank Mrs. Sibilio for the many, many years of dedicated service. She's helped this school committee out tremendously, and so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention her name too. Mary, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the many years that you've dedicated to education. It's truly a profession that has been fulfilled by your dedication to the students of and public education, and not by thank yous for the time spent, because that doesn't often happen. You've given your all, and for that I'm really exceptionally grateful, because you've made an impact on our community, hundreds if not thousands of students that have come in and out through these doors. Prior to coming to Marlboro, you spent several years in the classroom in Cambridge and Somerville before stepping into an administration role. And then you've been in Marlboro for over 22 years, culminating as our current superintendent that we're so grateful for. You started working in 2003 with John Collins as an assistant principal at Kane, moved to becoming a principal at Jarwick, moved into another role as a principal at Whitcomb, helping us all out there, and then moved into the role as executive director for primary and secondary education a few years before assuming the role as assistant superintendent for teaching and learning. You gave Marlboro everything you had, and you've helped this community tremendously. And this district became better by your consistent voice and advocacy for equity for all. Thank you for your many years of service. You've always stepped up to do whatever you could for our students and staff, and you inspired so many of our staff to do what's best for the kids, always putting students first. It has not been easy. There have been challenges all along the way, but you have navigated these tests and grown to meet the task at hand, making success. Even if it was one small step at a time, you did it. I'm so very grateful that you chose Marlboro, and my life is better for having worked alongside you since I joined the school committee in 2008. I wish nothing but the best for you in your retirement. Enjoy all that is ahead on your journey. Make every single day count, and make sure to sprinkle some of that Disney pixie dust to make it magical. Thank you again.
Anyone else? No? Okay, we'll move on. Director,
you.
you.
I think the only best thing I can ever say to anybody as an educator, as for one myself, is that it would have been an honor and a privilege to have taught underneath you as superintendent.
Thank you.
And that's the one thing I can say. It's the best thing I can say. And the only thing I think I can say better, because I'm going to make sure I look this up and don't screw it up, is as a musician and someone who I know you are that loves Disney. I'll put it into words that maybe you'll understand a bit better. Mary Murphy, forever let us hold your banner high. Now it's time to say goodbye to all this company. MIC, see you real soon. KY, why? Because we love you.
Thank you.
Mary Murphy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good? Okay, moving on. Director of Finance and Operations report, Mr. Wells.
First up, I just want to remind everyone about our food service feeding program that we have during the summer program. We are feeding all of our students that are attending our programs within the schools. I want to remind everyone that the Marlboro Public Library will have lunch daily from 12 to 2, Monday through Friday, starting on the 23rd, going through August 22nd. So June 23rd through August 22nd, 12 to 2. We just want to make sure that all families are aware of that. That program is open for all children up to the age of 18 and select populations from 18 to 22. So if you are in town and would like a meal, feel free to bring your kids over to the library. A nice, cool place to hang out during the day and get a meal. So the finance office, we are reorganizing the finance office to better support the district. After approval of upgraded job description, the position of grants manager / accounts payable will change to the assistant director of finance and operations. This role will provide day-to-day oversight and supervision within the business office And we'll be focused on a number of projects that we need to move forward within the business office. Mainly, one of the big ones is making sure that Munis starts to reconcile and align with what our actual operation is. And that's in a lot of different areas as we're identifying, not just naming conventions within the actual Munis that have changed over time but have not been updated within the system, but doing vertical integration with a lot of our other systems that are supposed to integrate with Munis and getting those aligned and getting those integrations set up so that we are more readily bringing data directly in and thereby reducing the number of errors that we have between systems. And within the packet is the latest year-to-date budget report for your review.
Mr. Wells, how are we getting the word out about the summer feeding program so people know about it?
So, yeah, it has been, it went out, it is on a number of different websites. It gets rebroadcast, so it's out there on DESI's website. There's a few other websites that also grab that information and broadcast it out. I believe we also sent home through the individual principal reports what these feeding programs were. So we get that out every year and make sure that we get the message out to everybody. We also, I'm not sure if it's posted yet, but we'll make sure that it is posted on our website so that it is, people can be aware of that as well.
Is it possible that, like, can someone make a flyer and put it out somewhere, like if people are at the library, like, or just places like where maybe even posting in the common rooms at some of the bigger places in town where maybe people might be in need? Just trying to think of how to get the word out, like, I don't know, like maybe posting something at Countryside Village, or I don't know where some of the lower income students might live, where they might, so that they know about it. I don't know if those communities have an email blast to their people that live there. I just want to make sure people know about this, because I'm sure they're not watching us.
And does the food pantry know about it?
Oh, yeah, maybe even a sign at the food pantry or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we can definitely make sure.
Boys and Girls Club, you know.
Yeah, Boys and Girls, so, all the programs, we try to make sure everyone knows about this. We're definitely feeding every kid who comes to the school. And we had that last year. We had a number of kids who just showed up at the school and said, hey, had lunch. Yeah, come on in.
Of course.
Great.
We generally do the schools for the programs that are there, but if a kid shows up and they're hungry, we'll feed them as well. So we can certainly will reach around and back around and see if there's anything we missed or if there's other avenues.
Is there a graphic that was already created that was sent out or no?
I believe it went out through the principal notifications.
Right.
Well, if there was a graphic or something, can you just send it to my office and we can post it on our social media as well? Yeah.
And like the wraparound folks know about it, so that they're
Yes.
telling their
Yep.
families
Yep.
that they work with.
We can send it to the community cupboard, and there's other areas that we, as the city, know of that we can reach out to them, so. Okay. Just making my notes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions, comments for Mr. Wells? No? Okay. We'll move on to the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Skaza.
Mr. Mayor, I'm pleased to report that we conducted Getting Started with Into Math training sessions for our elementary educators this past June 12th and 13th. The sessions provided participants with the structure of daily lessons, how to assign work through ED, the digital platform, how to access the data that is collected from online assessments through the ED platform, how to differentiate lessons with HMH materials, and how to use Into Math to support math workshop. Additionally, educators received their hard copy manuals and pacing guides, looked at grade level specific HMH manipulative kits that each classroom will be getting, and learned what are the must-dos from the program and how to navigate all the options beyond those must-dos. Special thank you to Becky Kaya, Jamie Miller, Pam Migos, and Krista Oriole for helping with organizing these training sessions. I was very pleased because we made a conscious effort to get some in-person training with this program prior to the end of this school year. So with the thought that elementary educators would feel more confident with the program and be ready to hopefully hit the ground running this coming fall. The feedback that we got from the trainings was positive. They seemed to be comprehensive. The trainers were thorough and knowledgeable, so I'm feeling good about those two sessions. We have a draft math vision, and if you recall, not too long ago, I had presented a vision for literacy instruction for the district. This draft math vision is similar in its design. A team of educators and administrators have been working with our consultant from TNTP to develop a vision for math instructions grade K through 12. This vision work was initially conducted in an effort to support our educators and students with the core math curriculum in grades K through 8. However, the math vision is intended for all math classrooms, including our high school courses. This vision is meant to mirror our vision for literacy instruction, and we received feedback from families and caregivers earlier this month that helped frame the priorities. And included in my report for your review is the draft vision. I'll just read the statements quickly for the public. It says in the opening preface, in Marlborough Public Schools, all students are mathematicians who grow into confident problem solvers with choice-filled futures. Math instruction balances conceptual understanding, procedural skill, and fluency and application. It opens access to all learners through high expectations, productive struggle, rich discourse, and appropriate scaffolding. In all classrooms, every day, all students build positive mathematical identities by embracing mistakes, approaching challenges with a growth mindset, and taking ownership over their learning. Persevere through productive struggle by applying abstract and quantitative reasoning, taking risks, using mathematical tools, and thinking critically and flexibly. Engage in mathematical discourse to explain their thinking, justify reasoning, collaborate with others, build on peers' ideas, and critique the reasoning of others. Connect new concepts to prior knowledge in real-world contexts, recognizing patterns and relationships across mathematical ideas. And finally, create and foster supportive classrooms with their educators where multilingualism, learning differences, and lived experience are strengths. And that is the same bullet in our literacy vision. I do want to thank the team of mathematicians and educators who helped with this math vision. We had representation from the high school, from the middle school, and from the elementary school. And we had our lead consultant, Katie Garner from TNTP, who helped facilitate a lot of that work. So thank you to all that were involved.
Yes, Ms. Hennis.
Thank you. So it was all tied in where the high school would come, like they were a part of it, so we could get the whole trajectory going. Okay, and if some of the elementary folks are trying to do their preparation over the summer, are they going to have, will it be you as a point person if they have questions? Or I'm just curious because I think about if I was in their, their shoes trying to get ready for the next year, I'd want to kind of get myself going before having to get back in. Do they have that avenue already kind of laid out for them?
Well, right now I'm the point person for a number of things, including like the materials associated with the program, if they're needed, any of the trainings that need to be conducted for our new employees, any employees who maybe missed these sessions. And I don't know that we have many, if any, getting them caught up and connecting them to people who are a little bit more familiar with math instruction. I was an English teacher, however, I can make sure that the team that we have across the district can support educators and make sure that they feel comfortable and confident with this program come fall. The point to note that is advantage to this new program is that the Ed platform is the same platform that elementary educators have used with Into Reading, so toggling through that, navigating that, and finding where the resources lie within the program should come pretty naturally to them.
Yeah.
Additionally, HMH is the publisher of our Go Math program that we previously used. So a lot of their adaptation of an Into Math program from the Go Math program should have some familiarity.
I guess I was just thinking more, towards the differentiated lessons. That was an area that kind of hit me, especially once we were going through the SIPs for each of the schools, because there were some schools that seemed like they had certain areas where math needed a little bit more focus. And
so I'm really happy that you asked that question or brought up that point, because it's not in this report, but I will note now that we are also setting up a similar strategic advising model that we used this past year with the Into Reading program, where principals and lead teachers receive weekly consult, strategic advising, and then the avenue to get that information out to the teachers. For example, how to differentiate, how to navigate the workshop, the nuances of the program is presented through the PLC format.
Okay.
So I'm feeling confident that with that same framework that we use for the second year of Into Reading, we will have educators feeling themselves confident with navigating not just the program itself, but the nuances within the program when it comes to instructional practices.
Okay. Is it possible, October, November-ish, to kind of come back around to let us know how things are going so far and, good things we're seeing or areas that need more challenge or opportunities?
Absolutely. I certainly plan to update the committee this upcoming school year with Into Math updates. It will be something that we're placing a lot of focus on, prevalent in that strategic advising model, and I'm very happy to make sure that you're all abreast of information as we go along.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. The relationship with TNTP, is that, it's grant funded? Is there a sunset date, or is it?
So we have a handful of relationships or contracts with TNTP now, some of which were grant funded fully through a grant through the state. For instance, the GLEAM Growing Literacy Equity Across Massachusetts grant, that was fully state funded. We didn't use any of our title grant or our individual grant funding for that. For the elementary TNTP consultancy, we had to use our Title I and Title II grant funding. We prioritized some of that funding in those two title grants. That's what I intend to do for this upcoming school year with Into Math and TNTP. So we have the luxury of some state-funded grant allotment. However, we're prioritizing, in addition to that, some of our title grant allotment to make sure that we give teachers the support that they need to successfully implement this program.
And they do a lot of like train the trainer kind of model stuff, right? Because I'm just, we don't know what's going to happen with those entitlement grants.
Right.
We just don't know.
They
we
are-
know we're going to be okay next year, but who knows what happens after that.
They're great at the train the trainer type of model, and they're also really strong with sustainability after they are done working with a district. So that's what we're doing right now with Into Reading. They are developing a sustainability plan for us. So when our contract ends with them with Into Reading at the elementary level this coming August, we should be able to carry on that work internally with a lot of confidence and efficiency because of all of the support that they've laid out for us.
I had a question real quick, though. I was curious, does this affect the accelerated program in the 7th and 8th grade? Because I remember we had the Into Math or Go Math supplement. I didn't know if
It doesn't affect the accelerated program, to my knowledge, at all. This is more of a core curriculum program for grades K through 8. However, when you are in an accelerated program, I think you get addition to that Tier 1 program.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Anything else? No?
Hopefully setting them up for calc, advanced calc like you took last year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on? Yes? Okay. Acceptance of minutes. The amended minutes of the May 2nd, 2022 school committee meeting.
Motion to accept the amended minutes of May 2nd, 2022 to reflect a couple of hyphens missing in Mrs. Botenheimer's name.
That's not the only reason.
Okay. This is the 2022, yes, perfect. So just to reflect the voting change. Yes. Questions, comments, seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Minutes of the May 2nd, 2025 special school committee meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding the May 2nd, 2025 meeting? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Minutes of the May 27th, 2025 school committee meeting.
Motion to approve with a minor amendment to note the absence of Mrs. Hennessy and Mrs. Matthews at that meeting.
Thank you. And and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns with the amended minutes from May 27th, 2025? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Minutes of June 10th, 2025.
Motion to approve to note, a minor amendment to note the absence of Mr. Geary and Mrs. Matthews from the June 10th, 2025 meeting.
Okay. Motions on the table and seconded the amended minutes from June 10th, 2025. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving on. Public comment section. Is there any public comment from the visitors who are here tonight? Seeing none. Public comment for the second time. Any public comment? Seeing none. Last chance. Public comment for the third time for this school calendar year. Seeing none. I close the public comment portion. Moving on. Action items and reports. The approval of an updated job description for the finance office.
So provided is the updated job description, as well as the old job description of which the grants manager and accounts payable supervisor was hired under. Certainly, the new job description shows the expanded role that has been fulfilled by the individual, Karen Runlet, within this role. She has taken on far more than just grants over the past 11 years. Having grown into taking over all of AP, handling the year-to-date report, making sure that is filled out correctly and filed, creating new account numbers, and leading through persuasive authority to get work done, often having to wait until the business manager arrives to have decisions made. So moving her, it is an FTE that's being a new job title that's associated with it. It's not a new FTE within the district. And she will be taking on a greater supervisory role to keep the wheels of business turning in the absence of business manager.
Okay.
In the absence of what? I'm sorry, the tape.
Of the director of finance.
You.
Yes. We've spent a lot of time on the building project and a lot of meetings over the past couple of months, and that is not going to end anytime soon.
No.
Very excited about the project, but not in the office a lot. Sometimes it can delay processing of a lot of things.
So just to be clear, we're approving two different job descriptions with this one.
We're replacing the old job description with the new job description.
So grants manager and accounts payable supervisor?
Right. That's the old job description
got
that
it. Thank you.
Ms. Runlet was hired under, and the new job description better reflects the role that she's been fulfilling for her.
Okay. So we will no longer have a grants manager and accounts payable supervisor position. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yes, a line item within her duties.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So motion to approve the job description for Assistant Director of Finance and Operations.
Motion's on the table and seconded. Is there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of new position for Human Resource Office.
So this one is slightly different because it is a new position. It is not adding an FTE to the budget. It is converting a human resource confidential office support to an assistant director position. At this time, an added supervisory level position is needed for effectively processing and attainment of the school district's goal. A human resource generalist position will be eliminated to create this role. This will allow new hires to be processed when the director or the manager of the human resources is involved in other bigger projects, and it allows for the effective continuation of that department. So we're asking for permission to create the new supervisory position.
Move to approve the job description for the Assistant Director of Human Resources.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
So I understand it's not a new FTE, but there's definitely an increase in salary. So
It is. She would be directing 2 other human resource generalist positions in the office, and also be expected to be much more independent and initiate a lot of tasks. So it is an increase in salary.
okay, and that was factored.
Yep.
Yes.
How did we get to this number?
That's correct.
How do we get to this salary range?
So Patty Brown did a number of, she went onto her listservs and she did a lot of comparisons and started from the general where the current employee would be and proposed an increase.
Is there a step increase or just
We
COLA?
don't have steps in for our confidential office
Okay.
support. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Marlborough Public Schools Music Award Recommendation Request for Proposal.
Mr. Rosenthal.
So,
Good evening. How's everybody? Quick background. Many, many years ago, I identified a void in our music program, whereas families were renting instruments wherever they saw a music store. And there was no background given. They would go online. You would get these beautiful colored clarinets that were red or black, trumpet, and they were really poor quality. And so, working with the then Chief Procurement Officer, Beverly Sleeper, we created an RFP for a preferred vendor. That has been hugely successful for our families, and so we have just updated this process, so I'll just give you a little background. The Marlborough Public Schools Music Department wishes to award a contract to a preferred vendor to provide our students a comprehensive instrumental rental program, including repair services and/or purchase of instrument, accessories, and other related items. The purpose of the Student Rental and Repair Service Program is to offer students the opportunity to purchase or rent quality instruments with the convenience of repair services offered at specific school locations. The goal of the MPS music program includes to provide students with a good quality instrument at an affordable price and an easy month-to-month rental agreement so that the students are provided with the best opportunity to have a successful music experience in school. Participation by parents and guardians in the school-based program is voluntary, and they may choose to rent or purchase a musical instrument from a vendor of their choice at their discretion. So currently, David French is our preferred vendor. We were out to bid. We had 2 companies that submitted bids, and we had a committee team together, and we looked at the recommendations, we looked at the technical and price proposal, and the recommendation is to award David French the RFP award. So pursuant to Section 12 of Chapter 30B, the school committee authorizes the Chief Procurement Officer to award a contract to David French Music Company with a local address of 53B Otis Street, Westboro, Mass. 01581, for the Marlborough Public Schools Student Music Instrumental Rental Program and services for upon contract execution through June 30th, 2028, with an option to renew for 1 additional 2-year term from July 1, 2028 through June 30, 2030, in the sole discretion of the school department, with each fiscal year subsequent to the fiscal year in which the contract is awarded, subject to appropriation. I obviously didn't write that last piece. But I think I hope it makes sense.
yes.
I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah, I guess a couple questions. If I remember correctly, I feel like we had music and arts or something like that. a number of years ago. Am I correct at that
Correct.
memory? Okay.
Correct.
Good, love that. And I'm guessing, just knowing our normal RFP process, it's just a matter of gathering the RFPs, and normally it needs to go from a low bid situation unless there's been some kind of issues and things like that, correct?
So RFP is different from IFB. With an RFP, you weigh the relative qualifications of the proposals that come before you and determine who is providing you with the best service.
Okay.
Then you open price proposals to see who's offering the best price, and it's kind of a comparison of the two. But first you say, this is who I want to move forward with based upon the qualifications.
Okay.
So it's a qualification phase.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I just wanted to make sure, because we've had a few.
IFBs are different, yeah.
Different.
That's lowest responsibility.
Okay, great. And then my next question is, since we've had a lot of changes within our music program, specifically at Whitcomb and then at the elementary schools over the last number of years, I'm just trying to kind of look bigger picture where I'm hoping, I'll put it out there, maybe I can manifest it, that we're going to be able to really grow the program back. Do you feel like this is going to be able to be in support of trying to grow the program at the elementary by providing opportunities for testing of some of the instruments and such earlier on to try and entice the kids,
Just for the record, I'm hoping to.
Good.
But the answer is yes. I mean, the company that we're recommending, we're making that recommendation because they will provide an amazing opportunity for all of our Marlboro Public Schools. So this is not just for the high school or the middle school. This is for elementary school, even for next year.
Yeah.
So we had a situation where Jarrick School had a program and they wanted to kind of showcase the instruments, and so this happened. It happened this year.
Thank you, because I was noting that, the schools were listed in there. I guess, in my heart of hearts, I'd love to see it be able to be pushed out as much as possible so that we can, grow back the band and music program. It's been stellar. You guys have been doing amazing stuff, but I'd love to see it continue to grow even more, which means starting at the itty bitties so that we have the full trajectory. So, thank you.
And Ms. Rosenthal, am I correct that this has been our vendor for the last few years?
Correct. They
Okay.
are.
So it's not-
They are currently our preferred vendor.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
I just have a question. Can you just let us know how, I read that they offer a scholarship program.
Yes.
And how does that work operationally? Like, how do parents find out about it? If they don't feel like they can afford it, how do they know that such a thing
So one of the
exists?
things that we did, that I did with our superintendent, is we had a number of capital that we bought a number of school instruments. So we have increased our school-based instruments, so that's been really nice. So no student ever will go without an instrument. But then we work with Matt and the Aspen notification. If families qualify, then we go with that route. But our current vendor is wonderful with scholarship instruments, and also all of our printed music that we buy as a district, we get 20% off. So,
Great. And so kids can, if a child expresses an interest, then they can use the school instruments, and then if they want to advance, then the parents are notified that they are eligible for.
right, so we have a number of school instruments that families can use, but at the same time, we also have rental opportunities for families to use that as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Rosa.
This is interesting that I've actually had experience with this company. They were my vendor when I was teaching in Quincy, and we had replaced another longtime vendor with them because they offered so much more. So I wholeheartedly support this. They're a great company to work with. From personal experience, I can say that this time.
Great.
Anything else? Okay.
Motion to
Thank you.
approve?
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. Any questions, comments, and concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Moving on to the Marlboro Public Schools Richer Elementary School Education Plan.
Thank you, Mayor Dumas. As I mentioned earlier, as part of the submission of the preliminary design program, the district has updated the educational program that will be submitted to the MSBA. A group of Marlborough Public School administrators have worked together to identify specific needs in the new Richer School that will allow the district to meet the educational plan. And just to piggyback on what Mr. Rosenthal was just talking about, we are including the band and orchestra areas in the educational plan because the hope is at some point they can be restored. So we're asking for that the school committee approve the plan as presented.
Questions, comments before we,
So I'll move to approve.
okay. Move to approve is on the table and seconded. Any further discussion? Questions, comments? No?
It's so much, there's so much. It's such a big undertaking.
I guess that was going to be kind of my comment is it's a lot to go through and a lot to understand. I'm hoping that this could be something where, because I mean, realistically, I read through everything, but I felt like it was just, I was overwhelmed with information in such a short period of time, if you will. So it would be helpful if we were able to then direct some questions if we had them. And I guess my question would be, is that to you? Like, how do we, I don't know, like, well, no, you're not in,
No.
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 okay, not with the ed plan.
So.
So how do
yeah.
you, like, I just feel like, you know, as you continue to keep on delving into it, what's our best way to focus on having some
So for the
kind of
initial
conversation?
ed plan, just reach out to me.
Okay.
I mean, I did the last one, and I've updated a majority of this and worked with the team in different parts. Assistant Superintendent O'Brien helped with significant parts, and
Okay.
other members of the team. And we spent 2 leadership meetings working on it and looking at specific areas, so I can answer that. It may change a number of times between now and final submission. It's the major part of it is just to move it forward at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And MSBA may have their own.
Yeah,
Right. I do want to note that this educational plan and this process that we've been going through and all those dates, we did in about 2 months what I think we did in 6 to 8 months during the last time. Time is money
Right.
for building projects, and so we've been in an acceleration.
and thank you for understanding why it's just a lot for us to go through, where I felt a little behind on trying to make sure that I was reviewing it, hence why you and I were texting earlier today, where I was trying to understand about some of the scheduling questions around specials and things like that for space allocation and such. So, thank you.
Is there a motion?
I did. I already
Okay.
made the motion.
Thank you. Oh, yes,
And
and
you
then that was a
seconded it.
question.
That was
Thank you,
questions.
thank you. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Moving on. Rich Elementary School Study Preliminary Design Program Update. Mr. Ryan? Yeah.
So before you tonight is a hard copy of the information that was in the packet. So it was provided by Vertex. So you have a copy to refer to as well as what's in the packet. Vertex is happy to do a formal presentation. We thought maybe it was best to do that in the fall. But just to give you a kind of a brief overall of where we're at, they provided this book for you. So just to summarize some of the key points, I think, I won't take a lot of time, but currently we are in the feasibility study. On page 2 of your packet, of the book, it shows that the overall project is looking at 2 options. So one of those options is to build a 950 student K-5 Richard School, or an 870 student K-5 Richard School in addition to Kane School. The MSBA requires you to evaluate several different options to determine where the building will be and how much it will cost. Page 6 I thought was pretty good. It's reviewed 25 sites, narrowed down to 10, and now we're evaluating 4 sites. On page 9, there's a great illustration showing potential future enrollment at each school. So you'll see like the different buckets of the school and how it will decrease the sizes. Pages 10 to 20 are the various test fits for one of the MSBA requirements is to cost out addition renovation to Richer, and there are a couple of possibilities outlined. The addition to Kane, one thing to note in this is it would not be covered through the MSBA, and the addition also would trigger code updates, which would be costly. Kind of a bummer. Can't just add on, you have to do other things too. Another option is building a new school on the Richer field, and the current building would be torn down. Other locations are being looked at. Some are already eliminated due to location, lack of sidewalks, wetlands, potential costs, etc. You'll see lots of different graphs and building layouts throughout the book there. And then the page that everybody probably turned to first was page 28, which is the reimbursement rate from MSBA would potentially be 71.79%. The city's share would be about 86 to 89 million. With the Kane addition, it could be 147 million. I think that's kind of the overall review of what's in this book. Does anybody have any questions? I can try and answer, or I can get the answer for you. I just was trying to highlight some of the key things that have been happening to date.
So if I could add, so these are all preliminary.
Yep.
The sites are also preliminary. This is the process that we have to go through for MSBA. So that's why you have 2 different vehicles here. One is the educational component and one is the actual building and site location component. So you have the big picture here. So it's 2 different processes that kind of go simultaneously, and then the working group and the building group decides on all of these after numerous months of vetting. So that was a great update, but just so you have an idea, that's why we're doing 2 different things.
There's been a lot of meetings, and there's a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of things still being narrowed down over the next couple months.
Correct. The reason why it's before you now is so that you have an updated understanding of what the hard work that the building committee has been going through with this MSBA process. It's been a lot, and numerous departments, including from DPW to engineering to the schools side, as well as city side procurement, they've all been involved. Matt Wells as well. So it's a huge undertaking, and it's a great reading material for you all to take a look. But again, nothing is set in stone as of yet. City Council has been given the same packet at last night's meeting, because obviously they have to approve the funding once we are there at that point in time, once a determination is made based upon sites and the education plan and what direction we want to move forward with. Would you say that sums it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or it's a lot of information, and we understand that, but there's been a lot of months of preparation to get us to this point, and we're not even close to being done. So, yes.
So just for clarity, the 3 sites that are not 80 Foley Road are privately owned sites that the city would purchase if the current owner was so inclined to sell.
Correct.
Yes, so the estimates that I mentioned did not include site purchase.
Did not include
not.
site purchase.
And if I can, just ask a quick question to make sure I'm reading it correctly from, and also past knowledge. At Kane, if we were going to go down that path, the 1995 edition is really the modulars that were put on the back, correct?
Yes,
where
that kindergarten wing, ideally, we'd love to make it 2 floors.
Yeah.
But to do that, MSBA does not cover it.
Correct.
And it also triggers a lot of updates to the building, which are costly. But might be worth the investment, but that's something that they're still evaluating.
And that's what we're vetting out.
Yep, exactly. Thank you.
When I was reading through this before, I was wondering if the decision winds up being a new school on one of the non-80 Foley Road parcels, what becomes of Richer School as we know it?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So it could be, we would still own it, right? So we could still have it like Hildreth to be a place that we,
I think the focus for my office is to get a school built, and then we'll cross that bridge.
yeah.
Because we could potentially build on that site.
Yeah.
So I don't have a crystal ball, and we may not be sitting in this seat when that time comes. We don't know.
Oh, God, I'll be here. I shouldn't say that. My, the thing that keeps me up at night is if we are doing something that is physically involving the current Richer School, what do we do with the students during the construction?
That's all the things that they're looking at, and that
correct.
also goes into the cost estimate because of.
There's
that's-
swing space has been mentioned numerous times, if that's the case.
So that's where more information will be coming soon. They're looking at all that.
I figured you were, but.
Well, I'm not
I just
personally,
wanted
they
to-
are.
I just
but-
wanted to express why I'm up at
Yeah,
night.
there's a lot going into it. I feel like there's a lot more information coming this time than when we were doing Good Now, because it is at a faster rate, because like Mary said, time is money. And even at this rate, a new school wouldn't be online till maybe 2029, but probably 2030. And I don't know if you want a comparison too, because it was noted that when Good Now was built, it was at $303 a square foot, and this is at $586 a square foot. And we're also talking really a 10-year time difference, because when you think about it, Good Now opened in 2020. This school would be 2030. So in 10 years, that's your price difference. And the Good Now reimbursement rate was also 57%.
It's much lower.
We're getting a higher reimbursement rate. This time it could potentially be 71 to 82%. So still expensive. It's a large investment.
Of course.
And we have also expressed that we're not looking for a fancy building. We're just looking for, we just need classroom space. A square building is fine. We don't need,
Right.
we have expressed that,
Right.
that
And I
cost
can't-
is an issue.
I can't stress that this is all preliminary. So
Exactly.
there's, I just want the people at home that are watching, if they are watching, like, this is not set in stone. Like, there's going to be numerous changes, but this is the current update that we have to present. So and the people at home and the residents know that this is happening. And there's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and so we're just trying to showcase what we've been doing, because obviously a new school is needed, and this is the process that it entails, so.
Another quick question, and I forget whether it was an educational or building, so I apologize now. There was a comment made about not necessarily that we needed outdoor educational space, which I thought that was a little interesting based upon some of what we had learned from Good Now, that outside space really was quite beneficial.
That's a courtyard space, though. When we are defining, we looked at a lot of schools that have outdoor space. Was it the Beals in Shrewsbury specifically?
Yes, had a considerable
They
amount.
have benches and demonstration areas all around the campus. They have the luxury of acres and acres of space. We don't imagine we will ever be in that position. So a courtyard, we said, we would love if it's not expensive, but that's way before. That's getting.
Yeah, no, thank you for the clarity.
Yeah.
I just know that when we've talked about it, that's been,
Right.
I guess, a real benefit that we've heard from administration and the teaching staff over there, that's been great to have that, so.
During the
perfect.
educational planning, we said courtyards are kind of a Marlboro thing. All of our schools have them.
Okay, thank you.
And One other question. So the Model Schools program, is that,
It hasn't come into play yet, but there is no additional reimbursement for model schools anymore like there was when we did Good Now.
okay, all right. 71% is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, last time when we had the preliminary discussions about Good Now, you remember it came in under budget, which is kind of rare. So
Right.
fingers crossed, could happen
Yeah.
again.
Could happen.
And there's no reimbursement for land purchase either.
Yes, right.
So,
Yeah.
it's that little fun fact.
This is true.
Okay, anything else?
Great.
No need to vote, so it's just more
Information.
information.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We shall move on to the policy for first read, policy 1M, animals in school.
Thank you very much. So tonight before you is a policy that we have revised, animals in schools, policy IM. I would like to ask for a suspension of the rules so we could add the agenda item of actually voting on this so that we could hopefully get this on the books prior to us moving into the school year next year. So that way we could do it tonight if possible. So I'd like to make a motion for suspension of the rules.
There is a motion on the table and seconded to suspend the rules. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of suspending the rules? Motion carries.
Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the animals in schools policy with the amendments that are noted within. Specifically, this has a lot of language about an SEL, support dog animals, non-service animals, that was added in here. Just a minor amount of background for you all. We have done a lot of comparative with many different districts that actually do have this as part of their policy. We have had some discussions with some of the, the high school. We did actually talk at all levels, high school, middle, as well as elementary, and tried to do what we could on making sure that we had kind of thought through things to meet the insurance needs, liability needs, as well as in the practicality of making sure that professionally it was meeting the expectations of roles and needs across the board. So there you have it.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table and seconded. I have one question on the last page, 505. This is approved. Was this actually approved a year ago, July 24th, 2024?
Yes, it was, because if you will recall, that's when we were making the full transition from the numerical into the alphabetical of the website. So everything, everything changed within about a year and a half ago.
I know we just met in July.
Hmm?
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Oh, yeah, July.
This was actually, we had a special meeting,
Yeah.
and so we just added some of these
Which
to
is
it
fine.
at that point.
Yeah, I don't remember yesterday, that's all I wanted clarification. Okay, okay.
This
So
doesn't-
motion's on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Saying,
Chicks, right?
It does not affect chicks in school.
Bring
They're
back the
still,
chicks.
they're still
Bring back
welcome,
the chicks.
chicks in school.
Sorry, I had to say it.
we're
That's why
talking,
you're giggling.
yeah, okay.
You weren't here then. so there's a whole thing
No,
about
but we're actually
chicks.
talking the animal chick.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, we used to have them.
Yeah,
little chicks.
got it.
Talk to Calliope.
I still have the hat.
All righty,
So do I.
let's move on. All in favor? Carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Acceptance of donations and gifts. Here we go. Ready? Commonwealth of Mass Middlesex District Attorney's Office, the Marlborough High School All-Nighter, $500. Is this what you'd like to recuse?
Motion to approve?
Weren't you going to?
But do I make the
She's
motion?
not voting yet. She can make the motion.
I can-
No, if you recuse yourself, you can't make the motion.
Okay, then I
Yeah.
never mind.
I'll make that motion.
Make the motion to approve.
That's not how that works. Yeah. Okay.
Make the motion to approve
Okay.
$500 from DA. Oh, should I recuse myself? My husband works for the DA's office.
Yeah, you probably should.
Okay, never mind.
Okay,
Catherine,
so I'm going to make the
it
motion
just occurred to me. I forgot that it
approve.
was from them.
Motion on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? No. Seeing none. All in favor? Motion carries. 4,
Do I have
Two
to?
abstentions.
2 abstentions.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
you can still do the minutes.
Got it, no, I got that.
Yeah, okay. Okay. You good?
Yeah, so I recuse myself from that.
Yes, yes.
As do
So
I.
4 approved, 2 recused. Okay. Global Companies, Marlboro High School for
Gave
$735.
the money.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay. Number 3, O'Connor Studios, Jarrick Elementary School for $1,379.01, and Kane Elementary School, $874.17.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, and concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. We're in our groove for the last one already. Fiscal year 25 FC 186, Title 3, Part A, Immigrant Children and Youth for the Marlboro Public Schools for $23,471.
Motion to
There it
approve.
is. Motion to approve and seconded on the table. Questions, comments, and concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Like, sometimes it's like herding cats. I love it. Moving on.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would like to suspend the rules.
Okay. There's a motion to suspend the rules and seconded. Questions, comments? Who would you like to say why you'd like to suspend the rules?
To add an agenda item.
Thank you. All righty. It's on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, and concerns to suspend the rules? Seeing none. All in favor? Motion carries.
So, move to add the agenda item that was inadvertently left off the agenda for the superintendent, who is outgoing, summative evaluation report,
Okay.
Which is a compilation of reports that I received from other members.
Okay. There's a motion on the table and seconded to add the superintendent evaluation. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? It is on the agenda.
So we completed the superintendent's evaluation, which showed that she met all of her goals for this year, as well as proficient in all of the indicators in the evaluation that we use. It's the DESE-approved evaluation tool. It was not in the packet, so, because it wasn't completed in time, but it will be online on the website with the packet once the minutes are, once it's posted in a couple days.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's no need to approve it, correct?
So, I think we usually accept and place on file. So move to accept the superintendent's evaluation and place on file.
Motion's on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting and placing on file? Motion carries. Okay.
And I will do my teach point, yes.
Okay. Reports of school committee subcommittees. Seeing none. Moving on, members forum.
I have reviewed and signed the warrant.
You. Anything else from members forum? Good? Okay, I'm up. I am very, very sad to announce this, and we saved it for the end of the meeting so we can actually adjourn, because it's very, very disheartening. With a heavy heart, it is my responsibility and my duty to inform the residents of Marlboro that we have lost a very vital role for the school committee. Miss Heidi Matthews has passed away yesterday. She has been an incredible asset to the school committee for the last 14 years. I'm still in denial, and it's actually hitting me very hard right now. So with having said that, she will be missed. She was extremely loved. She was incredible with negotiations and contract work. That part of her job here will be missed entirely. So having said that, it is very painful to say that she is no longer with us, which is why we have flowers for her here, and we wish all the best to her loving and caring family. Having said that, I don't know if anyone else wants to say a few words, and Ms. Hennessy.
So the last few days have been really hard, and especially the last 24 hours. Our collective loss of our friend and colleague has been exceptionally painful. Heidi was a fierce advocate for the Marlboro students and staff, as well as one of my closest friends. She cared so deeply for this committee and the work that we have done and that we do day in and day out. This district and community have been at the forefront of her life over the last number of years, especially as she was fighting the good fight. And you, Mary, she was so proud of you and the work that you did over the 20-plus years of dedication to Marlboro and the education of our students. I hope that we can all be like Heidi as we continue to serve this community. She spent well over 20 years working side by side with her husband, leading Marlboro Youth Soccer. She spent time supporting MASC, the MIAA, MEF, and almost 10 years involved with school councils prior to being on the school committee as an elected official. These groups all mattered, but the line that connected all of it was always about the kids and the students. Her heart and head were always in the right place because it was focused on the kids that were in the center of the room, and that was a part of making all of the decisions that were going to benefit all students, not just some. Equity mattered. Access mattered. The whole child mattered. May Heidi be an inspiration to us all to have faith and hope in others and in humanity. Fight like hell for what you believe in, and don't just give in. Advocate to make things happen. Collaborate to bring things to fruition, and support people around you so we can all work to improve our situation for our society and every single human. She was fierce. She was tenacious. She was dedicated. She was strong-willed, and she was deeply passionate. I'm so grateful to call her my dear friend and school committee colleague. She will be missed by all who know her and knew her, and her life was a life well lived. But most of all, I will really miss my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else for the members forum? Anything else? I know it's very difficult. Those were beautiful words. Thank you, Ms. Hennessy. So if there's anything else, let's go have a drink in remembrance of Miss Matthews. So if we could have it.
Move to adjourn.
Motion's on the table to adjourn. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:43. Thank you.